The story begins with our hero being bullied in the school washroom. He's forced to mimic monkey antics and strange noises under threat of violence. Smoking is forbidden, and the bully chose the washroom as a cover. A bystander pleads for him, but the torment continues. The bully demands he imitate Pikachu and an elephant, reducing him to a plaything. In class, the bully uses Daniel as a punching bag. Coerced into acting like Pikachu, Daniel contemplates ending his life. Later, Logan requests to borrow Daniel for a stunt for the 100th day anniversary with Hyungseok. Daniel, now dubbed Pikachu, delivers his 100th day thunderbolt but accidentally farts, angering Hyungseok. After a day of shame, Daniel asks his mother for a school transfer due to his low grades. She refuses, citing their circumstances. Frustrated, Daniel unleashes his anger on his mother, feeling guilty afterward. The next day, Daniel encounters Logan, who humiliates him further. His mother visits the school to request a transfer, surprising the teacher. Outside, Daniel becomes a target for a game. After being hit, his mother arrives, shouting at Logan to stop. Daniel's mother arrives, furious at her son's mistreatment. She confronts Logan, who can only take her scolding silently. The entire school witnesses the scene, and the girls mock Daniel for needing his mother's help. When his mother tries to explain her actions, Daniel lashes out, embarrassed. Despite this, she decides to transfer him to a new school. She can't accompany him due to financial and work constraints, but she believes he's mature enough to handle it alone. On the day of the transfer, she drops him at the bus stop. Grateful for her support, Daniel heads to his new school, determined to start fresh. In the new town, he visits a barber for a makeover, hoping for a change. With a new hairstyle and contact lenses, he feels ready for a new beginning. As he walks through town, he notices a girl staring at him. He approaches her, but her boyfriend intervenes, leading to a confrontation where Daniel is hit in the face. Onlookers record the incident on their phones. Distraught by the viral videos of Zach's punch, Daniel returns home feeling like a failure. He cries himself to sleep, but awakens in the middle of the night feeling strange. Everything seems different, his body feels lighter, the surroundings surreal. Approaching the mirror, he's shocked to see a flawless version of himself staring back. Even more unsettling, his previous self lies asleep on the floor. Has his soul somehow shifted between two bodies? The room's new inhabitant is unmistakably Daniel, yet the slumbering figure on the floor is also him, bearing his former weight. This trim form seems startlingly real, an eerie sight in the dim light. Unsure of what to do, he considers calling the police, the hospital, or his mother, but he knows these options are futile. He tries to wake the dormant form, but it remains unresponsive to his efforts. Suddenly, Daniel wakes up, back in his heavier body. Was it all a dream? The vividness of the other form makes him uncertain. He tries to wake the slim version, but it falls into a deep sleep. Throughout the night, Daniel experiences this strange cycle, struggling to understand these shifts. He realizes that when one form sleeps, the other wakes, and if he wakes one, the other immediately falls asleep. Over the weekend, Daniel learns that the bodies don't change on their own. When one wakes up, it has its own needs and desires. He tries to stay awake for as long as possible but eventually gives into sleep, finding a balance where he spends 12 hours in each body. Transitioning between them brings a sense of rejuvenation. As he adapts to this new way of life, it's soon time for Daniel to start a new school term. In the halls, girls talk about the most attractive boys, including Bayam. When Bayam accidentally bumps into Daniel, he is surprised to find that the stranger is incredibly handsome. It turns out that the charming stranger is none other than Daniel himself, whose allure is undeniable. In the classroom, students chat about the weather while a bully targets a classmate, making him act as a fan. Laughter ensues, and a girl tries to help but is mocked. The teacher announces a new transfer student, sparking curiosity. Daniel Park enters, feeling the stares but finding a seat calmly. The class is divided, girls intrigued, boys wary. Daniel, though transformed, feels uneasy. He tentatively talks to the person next to him, who turns out to be Zach, unaware of Daniel's past. Zoe, a popular girl, flirts with Daniel, causing jealousy from Zach. As class continues, Zach's resentment grows, thinking Daniel is stealing his spotlight. Daniel considers focusing on practical skills over traditional studies, given the school's K-pop and modeling reputation. In the cafeteria, girls are captivated by Daniel, spilling food as they watch him. Students in a shadowy area offer him cigarettes, a first for Daniel. He struggles with accepting or declining, ultimately walking away. However, he falls asleep in class and wakes up in his original body at home. Realizing the risk of sleeping in school, he tries to project himself back to school but ends up waking abruptly, facing Zoe. He wonders if she woke him up. The next evening, Daniel seeks a part-time job and impresses a shopkeeper with his appearance, who hires him on the spot. However, when Daniel reveals he's there to refer a friend, the shopkeeper changes his mind, offering Daniel's original body the job instead, albeit at a lower wage. Daniel decides to work both bodies, splitting his time between school and work. Days blur together in surrealism, while nights feel harsh and nightmarish. While working, Daniel faces the school bullies demanding cigarettes but refuses to serve them due to their underage status. Zach, recognizing Daniel from their previous altercation, demands items without payment, escalating the tension. A bystander reveals that Zach's aggression stems from Mira's interest in Daniel, suggesting she may break up with Zach. Enraged, Zach punches Daniel, and his friends force Daniel to film a video. Outside, Daniel contemplates his situation, feeling isolated. He calls his mother to check on her, and she offers her support. The next day, Zoe shows Daniel a video of Zach's assault, revealing that they're mocking him. A dark moment occurs when someone reveals they've taken inappropriate pictures of Daniel, offering Zoe a glimpse, which she staunchly refuses, though secretly she might have agreed if Daniel wasn't present. Daniel reluctantly joins, praying the photo won't be exposed. The topic shifts to Zach's punch, and they praise his quick reflexes that left the guy defenseless. Pleased, Zach urges them to embellish the story, hoping Mira will hear. However, Mira isn't pleased with Zach's short temper, recalling a recent incident where he confronted a guy in the market. Perhaps his irascible nature stems from his past as a boxer. Meanwhile, Zach continues to boast about his punches, leaving Daniel wondering why he has to sit beside him. Suddenly, as the girls try to corner him, Zoe approaches Daniel, inviting him to join her. The girls can do nothing but curse Zoe for her audacity. The conversation shifts to Daniel's family, with mocking remarks about his old body, insinuating he hails from a less than respectable background. Daniel loses his composure and attempts to stop Zach, but Zach is quick to escalate it into a fight. He challenges Daniel, and the news spreads like wildfire. The entire school bears witness to Zach and Daniel at odds. Though Daniel tries to dissuade further confrontation, he fears it may come to blows, his heart pounding in fear. Zach observes Daniel's stance, concluding he's inexperienced in fighting and that one punch should settle it. Just as he's about to strike, a quiet classmate named Jay intervenes, restraining Zach. However, Zach is determined to salvage his image in front of Mira. In a split second, Zach breaks free from Jay's grasp and swings at Daniel. In that moment, memories of past beatings flash through Daniel's mind, from Logan and his friends to this very encounter with Zach. Reacting swiftly, Daniel dodges the punch, leaving everyone in awe. Though Zach's hands move swiftly, Daniel's deft evasion leaves him stunned. Since childhood, Zach has been known as the fastest kid around, unmatched in speed from school to high school. Initially intimidating, Zach's retaliation left seniors too scared to challenge him. Now, an ordinary boy effortlessly evades Zach's punches, making him look average. Sweat beads on Zach's forehead as he realizes he's against someone extraordinary. The boy is not just fast but precise and seasoned in anticipating attacks. With Mira watching, Zach unleashes his full force, but Daniel reacts swiftly, narrowly blocking the attack, stunning the school. Daniel recalls disrespect toward his mother and Logan's mistreatment, steeling himself and landing a punch in Zach's belly, earning applause. Zach threatens anyone laughing, facing humiliation. Elsewhere, Jay overhears a plot to ambush Daniel as news of his victory spreads, reaching Vin Jin from the dance and vocal department. In another part of the school, Ali from the beauty department is approached by curious girls. Exiting the bathroom, Jay finds the bullied kid speechless as those who plotted against Daniel lie beaten by his swift action. That day was like a dream for Daniel, as it was his first time throwing a punch and being cheered on. However, he struggles with being judged due to not being in his original body. Late at night at a convenience store, Daniel decides to start working out to lose weight. He is surprised when a pretty lady greets him respectfully, mentioning they look alike as she also exercises. Impressed by her behavior, Daniel wishes for more people like her in the world. Later, a group of friends discusses not having heard Jin Sung's voice before and worries about Jae-ho spreading rumors due to their past behavior. They call Jae-ho to warn him not to speak out. Meanwhile, Jae-ho is woken by the call and rushes to the station. Arriving at the group, he is asked about spreading rumors and appears frightened. One of them, with a low battery from the call, asks Jae-ho to steal a new battery from the convenience store. Reluctant but left with no choice, Jae-ho complies and encounters Daniel at the store. Assuming Daniel is weak like him, Jae-ho steals a charger but trips while trying to escape. Daniel helps him up, and the group arrives, asking them to fight. A tattooed man overhears this conversation. Daniel and Jae-ho are asked to fight, with the winner's picture being deleted, but they don't respond. It's mentioned that if Jae-ho wins, he'll be graduated from being the group's gopher. Jae-ho jumps on Daniel, who understands his frustration and decides not to retaliate, allowing Jae-ho to beat him. A voice from behind, Lee Yoon-tae, known as Vasco, tells them to stop and grabs Hyun by the throat, making him and his friends run away. Daniel and Jae-ho are relieved. Vasco asks if they're from the fashion department and tells them to tell the transfer student not to get full of himself. Daniel, frightened, decides to stay away from Vasco. The next morning, Jae-ho is careful with his lunch, and Daniel approaches him in the canteen, surprising Jae-ho. They sit together, and others wonder what Jae-ho is doing with Daniel. Zach, gazing at them, is called out by a group as the one who knocked out Lee Zach with one punch. Zach fights with Vin Jin, who realizes Zach is fast. Vasco arrives and grabs Daniel's shoulder, asking him not to be cheeky. Daniel lifts Vasco's hand off with ease, surprising everyone with his strength, including Vasco. During the encounter between Daniel and Vasco, spectators are amazed to see Daniel handling the confrontation so easily, wearing a smile as if it's child's play. A defeat for Vasco would mean humiliation for his crew. The entire architecture department's burn knuckles. Jace Park intervenes to settle the fight, mentioning it must be a misunderstanding. Daniel finds Jace Park kind and impressive. Vasco tells Daniel and Jae-ho not to submit to Daniel before leaving. Daniel and Jae-ho are confused about who Vasco was talking to. A boy with purple hair admires Daniel's unpretentiousness and considers asking him to be his hair model. In the bathroom, Hyun advises his friends to befriend Daniel, impressed by how Daniel didn't flinch during the encounter with Vasco. They invite Daniel to a party, which delights him as he has been longing for friends. Daniel dreams of singing with friends and quickly accepts the invitation, excited for the party on his day off from the convenience store. He believes 2 extra hours of sleep won't affect his original body. At night, Daniel is added to the friends group chat, adding to his excitement. When he arrives at the meeting place, he finds it shabby but continues. He reaches a restaurant on the 2nd floor, wondering if that's how gourmet restaurants are. Excited for the interaction, he finds the room filled with an unpleasant, hazy white air. Daniel joins Hyun and others at the table, where Zach questions his presence. Zoe explains she coincidentally ran into Daniel while coming to eat gopchang. Daniel feels like he's entering something he shouldn't be. Daniel finds himself in a difficult situation at the party when offered a drink, but he and Zoe decline, mentioning they don't drink. The guys' conversation turns chaotic, filled with half of them abusing each other, leaving Daniel unsure of what to do. When asked where he lives, Daniel says he lives with a friend who dropped out of school. Hyun and others try to be the center of attention for Daniel. As Daniel describes his friend, the others assume the friend is a gangster, thinking Daniel is even more dangerous than they initially thought. The restaurant owner asks them to keep it down or they'll be reported. The owner is amazed by Daniel's handsomeness, getting close to him and offering to take care of him. Zoe and the owner vie for Daniel's attention. Another group notices Daniel's group being loud, finding Zoe annoying. Jin Sung drinks heavily, confusing Hyun. Hyun asks Zach to slow down. Meanwhile, Daniel, realizing Zach is drunk, regrets drinking at 17, feeling he's committed a crime. The other group decides Daniel's group needs to be taught a lesson for being loud. Daniel mistakenly believes the lady is talking about him flaunting his chest, then realizes she's talking about Zoe.